Living in the beautiful Philippines is really a dream come true, and even though I'm a foreigner, I feel really lucky to be able to have I feel like a good insight on local life here. I first moved here in 2014, then came back after COVID and lived here for over 6 years in total already. And thanks to my Filipino husband and the people around me here, I have the chance to live a more like local life instead of being a tourist here. And I just love simple, peaceful living in the province, but also had the chance to visit many amazing areas of the country throughout the years. So I wanted to gather my knowledge and share how much the way I do living actually costs in the Philippines. I've been seeing many creators and foreigners sharing their experiences on the topic. Actually, I even made a video about it like 2 years ago, but a lot has changed since then. And this time I wanted to share not like an overall idea, but a calculation more so based on my type of lifestyle, my experience on the expenses as a foreigner living in basically a random province in the middle of Central Luzon, not Metro Manila, not BGC, not a tourist-friendly island, but really just a regular, simple province life somewhere in the middle of Central Luzon. The first one is of course rent, and now we are staying with relatives while we are deciding where we want to move, but this area for example is quite close to the city, but it's one of those like kind of like inside road barangays where the houses are quite close together. Rent here can be as low as like 3,000 to 5,000 a month, but of course the cheaper it is, the smaller it is, and the more like renovation it might need, but extending that budget a little bit to more like 5,000 to 10,000 peso a month, you can get like a really nice house, not like a IKEA catalog type of condo style house, but like something nice, cozy, local with multiple bedrooms, maybe even with a backyard. Or for the same price we could be in the city in a newly built small one-bedroom apartment or studio, or we could even get a smaller one-bedroom unit in one of those what I call branded gated subdivisions. I've been browsing a lot for rent lately since we've been in the decision-making process of where to move, and the secret of finding like a nice locally priced rent is to stay away from Airbnb, actually stay away from almost all websites. Just go out to a neighborhood that you like, just look around, ask around, or go to Facebook. Almost every city will have their own like rental Facebook group where you can just post and see the offers, and you will get definitely better prices than browsing on any website. And then other home expenses will be of course all the different bills. The electricity is kind of like known to be a bit pricey in the Philippines. For this house, for example, the electricity bill is usually around 4,000 peso, but mind that it includes like 4 bedrooms, so like multiple people using things, but we don't run the AC like that much. Maybe if we were to live in a smaller like one-bedroom apartment, just the two of us, and run like the AC more often, and those things that consume more, then maybe it could be still our electricity bill just for the two of us. And then the water is honestly not that much, just a couple of 100 pesos, maybe like 300 to 400 peso per month. For cooking we are using a gas stove, and this big gas tank behind me is enough for like 2 months maybe, with like daily cooking at home. But the water bill doesn't include drinking water, you need to buy that separately in the Philippines. And then the internet we personally used is 1,300 peso per month for unlimited data. One more thing that foreigners will need to think about is of course visa. There are immigration offices everywhere around the country, like the one right behind me, and there are different types of visa, but the most common one that is easiest to get is of course a tourist visa. I was on a tourist visa for like 4 years when I first came to the Philippines, and you can extend like every 2 to 6 months. I'm not exactly sure how it works anymore because I've been not using tourist visa in the past years, but overall for 1 year the cost will be something around 40 to 45,000 peso. There are also more permanent visas like the quota visa or a retirement visa, but those are ones that I don't really have much information on. What I'm using right now is a marriage visa, and for me right now it costs like 19,500 peso and it's good for 2 years. The next big category is of course food and groceries. Part of it is of course eating out, but to be honest, we don't eat out that often. Usually we are eating like home cooked meals because I love cooking and it's way healthier and more affordable as well. But even eating out can come in many different shape and form. There are local carinderias, and a meal for a person in a carinderia like that can be anywhere from like 70 to 100 peso. Then there are these what I call in-between places, like this food court area around me right now, which have a lot of like snack foods or like cheap street food kind of food, but like a mall version of it. And similar would be like those smaller local restaurants, like where we ate earlier, for example. A meal in places like that could be anywhere from like 150 to 200 peso per head. And then there's of course fast food restaurants, like this is one of the most popular ones next to me, or just the typical ones like KFC, McDonald's, Jollibee. See guys, it's very masarap. Food in places like this would be for a person like 250 to 300 peso max. And then of course there are many nice bigger restaurants, fancy places, or just those more proper, not fast food type of restaurants. And in a place like that you can literally spend like anywhere from 300, 400 or more peso per meal. But to be honest, every time we eat in a similar place like that, you can even go into like an all-you-can-eat restaurant, which will cost you like 500 to 800 peso per head. Hi!
Hello guys!
So since we eat mostly home-cooked food, the bigger part of our food cost personally is groceries. Even with mostly cooking at home, the cost of grocery can be like very different depending on what you get. Of course, imported Western style food costs way more than local ingredients. I mostly cook like from locally like available and affordable ingredients. Usually lately we've been coming to the grocery like once a week, and every time it's like very different, from 1,000 to 3,000 peso per shopping. And that doesn't include like the fresh food. It's only like condiments, canned goods, dry goods such as pastas and sauces and things like that. But it do also include most of our snacks and extra things, like some of those not necessarily needed for cooking but still food items. And then another part of our grocery expenses, I would say the bigger part, is everything that we buy in little palenques or vegetable stores. That includes fresh vegetables, fruits, our proteins such as eggs, tofu, or if we are buying seafood or fish.
YouTube.
Hello! Hello po! Suki po ako dito.
Suki namin siya.
Tsaka yung delight.
Delight na malaki.
I'm coming here almost every single day, and then I can combine what I buy here with the different condiments and canned goods that I got in the mall, and approximately I'm spending this much per shopping in a palenque like this. Transportation. As you guys know, we are always using our scooter. This is our Yamaha Aerox scooter. A scooter like this or similar is somewhere around 150,000 peso right now, brand new, or you could get a more simple, smaller scooter like what we used earlier to go to the palenque, somewhere between 70 to 80,000 peso, or it could be even cheaper than that if it's a more simple model. I think private transportation is a must if someone is living in the Philippines, but we are perfectly fine using our scooter. We used to have a car also, but honestly we sold it because we didn't use it enough to be worth it to maintain it. For us, using a scooter is way more fun and more affordable as well. fuel price right now is around 60 peso per liter. So those would be the biggest, like most major expenses. There are some smaller things too, like all the cleaning products, cosmetics, but usually we buy those bulk. We buy, for example, a huge washing powder and laundry detergent in SNR, which will literally last us for like 6 to 7 months and cost only like 500 peso for a big bulk. Of course, there are sometimes some random expenses, mostly shopping, if we need to buy new clothes or if we just want to buy something for ourselves. Most major brands that are popular abroad and also available in the Philippines are very similarly priced. One more interesting detail could be travel expenses. The way how we travel is like kind of like an in-between, not really like a backpacker style, but we prefer to focus on the experience. Our goal is to visit as many places as possible, have a more local experience instead of staying in like a fancy 5-star resort. Of course, it depends on the destination as well, but for example, our last big road trip, we spent an average of like 2,000 to 2,500 peso per day, that including our fuel cost, our accommodation, our food and small pasalubongs and cheaper activities, not including more expensive activities like the ATV ride or something like that. Of course, traveling to another island costs more because of the flight and different transportation. Flight tickets in the Philippines can be pretty pricey. It depends how early you buy them. Last time, for example, when we went to Siquijor through Dumaguete, we bought the tickets like 1 month advance, and for the two of us it cost 10,000 peso return from Manila to Dumaguete and then an additional like 300 peso per head for the ferry to get to Siquijor from Dumaguete. So maybe that can give you like an idea of how much local travel can cost. And then just to give you idea about other expenses in the area that are not necessarily monthly, but you might want to spend on it. For example, you can call an at-home massage in the area. It would cost like 300 to 400 peso per hour. You can call an at-home manicure pedicure, cost around 75 to 100 peso each. Going to a barber for men costs somewhere from 100 to 200 peso. For women, honestly, I do my hair mostly at home, but it would be of course a bit more, a couple of 100 peso more. If you have pets, that's also another expenses. Pixel is really small, so her food is not really expensive, but vet visits cost like her annual injection for her tiny size around 300 to 400 peso. Going to a health checkup or something minor like an ear cleaning to a private clinic costs somewhere around like 500 peso last time we went. Going to the dentist, for example, for a pasta filling treatment costs somewhere between 1,200 to 1,600 peso. So honestly, we don't really keep a very strict track of our monthly expenses, just because every month it's really different for us, because based on our lifestyle, sometimes we spend more time at home, sometimes we are on the road, traveling, creating content, so it's very, very different every single month. But I will try to give you like a base idea just based on the calculations of all the prices are shared. So I just got my calculator, and for rent I would say like an in-between of what I said, maybe like a 6,000 peso per month. For electricity bills, maybe like 4,000 peso per month, water bill 300, drinking water another 300, gas for like 450, internet 1,300, grocery in the mall, let's say 2,500 every week, fresh products in the market and like random other items I forgot in the sari, let's say 150 per day, extra things like cosmetics and household things in a monthly basis, let's say like 1,500 peso. Fuel cost, let's say like another 1,000 in case we are mostly staying at home but like went on a day trip or something. So that would come down to something around 29 to 30,000 peso monthly, and this is just an estimation. It's not our exact expenses. Every single month for us really look different based on how our month is, and of course it can be very different, like I said, based on what someone is eating, what kind of transportation someone is using, what kind of rent they live in, how much electricity someone is using, how much they run the AC mostly. But I think it's a pretty decent calculation on how much it could be if someone was to live a more simple, regular province life in a similar area where we live right now. And of course you can add or take compared to this based on your personal preferences and extra shopping needs or any personal needs you might have, travel expenses or anything else you want to add or take. So I hope this information based on this different kind of area could give you like a good base of what to calculate with. And if there are any other more like informative kind of content you would like to see that we can make to help you besides making our regular vlogs, then please also leave your recommendations in the comment section. And thank you so much for watching, guys, and we will see you next time in the next vlog. Bye!